Hello friends, welcome to another chair yoga video. I'm so glad that you've decided to join me today. I'm calling today's practice Tune In, and we'll just work through the body, tuning into sensation in different parts of the body as we move across the midline of the brain, connecting those two hemispheres. Grab your chair, perhaps something to connect your feet to the floor, and we'll get started. I'm going to start seated on my chair, and I'm going to slide back in the chair and connect my feet to the floor. I'm using these blocks to bring the floor up to my feet. And let's sit back, turn the palms up in the lap, and the invitation is to soften or close the eyes. And tune into sensation in the body, noticing anything that you feel. And then we'll tune into the breath, slowing it down, evening it out, letting it be smooth. So we'll stack our palms at heart center, and we'll take a moment to set an intention for this practice. It might be this idea of tune in, might be anything else that's important to you. And then we'll release those hands back down to the lap. Let's take a circle with the shoulders. And then we're going to turn those palms back up in the lap. Now, as we inhale here, we're going to start to unfurl the fingers. So I'm going to inhale and extend thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky on my right hand. And as I exhale, I'll soften pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. And then I switch to the left hand, inhaling, expanding, unfurling into the left hand, and then softening the left hand. Let's try it again, moving to the right hand. And then the left. Tuning into the breath and linking that movement to the movement of the hands. Let's try both hands now. So when we inhale, we expand into both hands. And as we exhale, we soften both hands. One more breath, just like that. And then let go of that movement. And we'll slide forward on our chair, moving the blocks out of the way. So now we're going to connect our feet directly to the floor, sitting towards the edge. So my sitting bones are real firmly on this chair. And there's about 6 to 8 inches between the back of me and the back of my chair. And now we're going to make that movement a little bit bigger. So let's take the backs of the hands together. Fingers point down, the knuckles might touch, thumbs at heart center. And as we inhale now, we're going to unfurl those fingers, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky, opening the arms wide. And when we exhale, we'll come back, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. And those knuckles are connected again. Let's try it again, inhaling, opening, maybe look up. And as we exhale, we'll bring those hands back to heart center, drop the chin. Tuning into movement in arms now, in the hands, in the head and neck. Last one. And then let the hands rest in your lap. Notice those sensations. Okay, now let's bring the legs into it as well. Imagine like a marionette. So if we pick up our right hand, right heel, and then lower, and then we'll move to left hand, left heel. So I don't have to go very high, either with my arm or my foot. I'm just gonna lift my heel, arm goes to maybe shoulder height, and lower, and then the other side. So we're connecting right arm and leg, and then left arm and leg. And just see what it feels like to breathe here, to move this way. And then pause for a moment. And now we're going to go across the body. So let's connect right hand and left knee. You can lift up that left heel as you lift up right arm. Imagine they're connected just like a marionette. And then left arm, right heel. And bring it down. And if you're feeling strong, you might tune into the core and lift up that knee a little bit, lifting the foot up off the floor. That's an option. So we inhale, opposite arm and leg lift, and we exhale, we bring the hand and the foot back down. Let's do one more on each side. And then let the hands rest on your lap. Notice sensations now in the lower body, perhaps in the core as well, in the arms. Okay, let's do a little bit of cat-cow, tuning into the spine now. We can do our cat-cow as we normally do. Hands on the lap, inhale, fill up, lift the chin, look up, and exhale, round. Dropping the chin, separating the shoulder blades. So we do this in just about every video, and this is a great way to get that spine moving. If you want to try something different today, we'll start sitting tall. We can interlace our hands in front of us, turn the palms away at shoulder height, and then let the inhale lift that up. Now, be kind to your shoulders. If this isn't for you, don't do it. And then we'll bring the arms back down to shoulder height and round, dropping the chin. So here's another option for us today, giving us more sensations to notice, to tune into. Or again, we might just have those hands on the lap and move the spine. And after your next exhale, just come back to that nice tall spine. Notice how things feel. Moving now into shoulders. So we're gonna bring our elbows in. Actually, we're not moving to shoulders. We're gonna move to a little twist first. Bring the elbows in. Feel the feet really firmly planted on the ground. Let's take the feet maybe a little wider. And we'll just take a little twist here. So it's the upper body that's gonna take this twist. Feet are firmly planted. The hips are firmly planted on the chair. I'm gonna take a little twist here. So still moving in the spine, but probably middle of the back where you feel this. And then pause, come to center. And I'm gonna take my right hand out to the right. I'm pushing a door open, and then I'm gonna bring it in front of me, clear the windshield, I'm calling this, and bring that elbow back. So getting into the shoulders as well. So now I push that arm away, push my left arm away, I clear the windshield in front of me, there's a little twist, and I bring that elbow back. Let's try it again. Right arm reaches out, it holds open the door, then we clear the windshield in front of us. You get a little twist happening, and you feel some movement in the shoulder. Bring elbow in, push out, open the door with the left hand, clear the windshield, bring it back. We'll do one more in each direction. Right side, clear the windshield, bring the elbow in, and then left side, clear the windshield, bring the elbow in, and let those hands rest in your lap. Tune into sensations in that upper back. Noticing shoulders. Okay, we might take just a slightly wider stance. My feet are a little bit wider than my hips right now, and we're gonna get that imaginary beach ball in front of us, and we'll make some figure eights, lazy figure eights. So I'm gonna take my thumbs down to the left, and then up to the left, and then down to the right, up to the right. So these are those lazy figure eights. Now there's a little bit of a twist happening, shoulders are moving, but let's bring our attention or tune in to where we cross the midline, right? Right in the middle. And then both arms go to the other side. And just really be aware of that. This is so good for our brains, making those connections. Pause in the middle. And then we're gonna go in the other direction. So lead with your pinky fingers, perhaps, let's see, up and to the right, down and to the right, up and to the left, down and to the left. See if that works to reverse it. Sometimes it takes a little bit of thinking, and that's good today. That's what we're trying to do. Get that brain online. And then pause here in the center. Let those hands rest in your lap. Bring your feet a little closer together. Tune in with sensations in the body. Just noticing where we're feeling things already. And then we're gonna make our way to standing. When I come to standing, I want to make sure that my workspace is cleared. We might be using our chair a little bit later, but we can also use the wall behind us to help us with balance today. So keep those ideas in mind, and let's find our Tadasana. Stand up and feel what this feels like. Yeah, tune into the feet now, connected to the floor. We'll take those hands back to heart center with the knuckles, the backs of the hands touching, and let the thumbs be at the heart. And as we inhale here, we're gonna unfurl those arms, opening them wide. Perhaps lift the chin and the gaze. And then when we exhale, we'll bring those hands back, knuckles down. So let's give that a try, unfurling those arms. You might also try coming up onto the toes as we do this. Now, if you decide to come up onto the toes, you might want to keep the head movement minimal because, wow, moving those eyes really affects balance. We'll do one more like that. And then release those arms down by your side. Let's take 2 simple sun breaths, circling the arms up, perhaps coming up onto the toes. And then floating the arms back down. It feels good to just do something normal, right? Circle up, come back down. And now this next time, let's bring the palms together. Yeah, right in the middle. And maybe we stay up on our toes. And then very slowly on our next exhale, we're gonna lower the heels and we're gonna bring those thumbs right down through the center of the body and let the thumbs rest on the sternum. And release your arms back down. Okay, coming back to those funky unfurling arms. This time we're gonna make the legs of an X. So one arm's gonna go up at the other one's gonna go in the opposite direction. And then we're gonna come back to center with that option to lift up the heels as well. So we'll start here. And as we inhale, we unfurl those fingers, reach right arm up, left arm down. And then as we exhale, hands come back together, heels lower. And we switch sides. So there's a lot of thinking that takes place here. And what's good about that is it really anchors us in this present moment. Hard to think about other things when we're trying to figure out which arm's going up and are my heels lifting and can I stay balanced. Again, the wall behind you might be a nice tool to help us balance. We'll do one more on each side. Now let's release the arms down. Let's circle the arms up, bring the palms together, bringing everything back to center. And then very carefully lower those thumbs right through the midline. Let them land at heart center. And release those hands. Okay, so tuning into sensation now. Feet and ankles, in the arms. See how all of that feels. And we're going to work a little bit more with balance and with opposite, contralateral movement. So let's take our right hand connected to the right knee and lift up that hand as we lift up either just the heel or maybe the knee a little bit, and then lower. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So you see my weight shifts over, and then I can lift up, left arm, left leg. And let's try it again, shifting, and then lifting. Put it back down, other side. And put it back down. Okay, so now we're going to do the opposite arm and leg. Again, the wall behind you might be nice, or you could use the back of the chair for fingertip control. Let's take just a slightly wider stance. Keep our knees soft when we land. Now I'm going to take my left arm, right knee to start. So I'm imagining they're connected, and my inhale is going to lift up the hand, which is connected to the leg. And as I exhale, they both land simultaneously. The weight shifts, I lift the other side. And they're moving together. And that's what we're trying to do here. Make those connections. Lower. And lift. And lower. We're going to do one more on each side. And then pause in the center. Notice those sensations. Perhaps in the hips now, in the lower leg, arm and shoulders. Okay, we're going to take a slightly wider stance now. Heels in, toes out. So they're at an angle so that when we bend our knees are tracking over the toes. This isn't like a ballerina pose, fifth position or anything like that. It's a comfortable stance. Bend the knees, bend the elbows. We're in our goddess pose. And then we'll push into our feet, straighten the legs. 5-pointed star. And let's come on back down. Push into the feet, reach up, straighten the legs, perhaps look up, and then return to goddess pose. We'll do one more. And come on back down. Stay here. And we'll release those arms, straighten the legs. Let's bring our legs back together. Tuning into those glutes now. Perhaps hamstrings, quadriceps. Okay, we're going to move to a warrior one now with our right foot forward and our left foot back. And this is a time when, if you want that chair in front of you, this would be a good time to do that with that fingertip control to the back of the chair. Right foot forward, left foot back. I've got room for my hips. My front knee is bent over my front ankle. I feel very stable in this position. It's not like I'm doing this, but it's stable. So make sure that back leg is wide enough so that you can feel stable. We're not on a balance beam. Okay, so find it, and then we're gonna bring those knuckles together, backs of the hands together, thumbs at heart center. Let's straighten the front leg. Now I have my right foot forward. I'm gonna do a little bit of thinking here. So when I inhale, I'm gonna bend the knee and I'm gonna open my left arm up, right arm down, like those arms of the X. And then when I exhale, the hands come back. Same arm, I'm not switching arms because I'm not switching legs. So that left arm's going up as my right knee bends. And then come back. You might lift the gaze on the inhale. And then drop the chin on the exhale. Let's come into our warrior one now and stay there. You could take that right arm up and find a warrior one hand position that works for you today. Come back to the smooth breath. And then float the arms down. We'll straighten the leg. We'll switch to the other side. So now we're going to have our left foot forward and our right foot back. Finding a comfortable stance here, squaring those hips. Once we've found that stance, we'll bring those knuckles back together, straighten the leg. So because our left foot is forward now, it's the right arm that's going to lift. When you're ready, let's inhale, unfurl those arms, unfurl those fingers, and exhale, return. So I've got my thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky finger opening. I might even look up. And then pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Now this next time that we come into the pose, we'll stay in the pose, we'll stay in our warrior one. And we might decide to lift that left arm up as well and find a place where we're comfortable with our arms. Let the shoulders be soft. Come back to that smooth, even breath. And then float the arms down, straighten the front leg, and we'll step our back foot forward. Tune into sensation here. Okay. Let's come back to that slightly wider stance now. Remember that goddess pose, right? With the knees bent, knees tracking over the toes. This isn't a deep squat. Just a comfortable one. And we're going to move from here. So maybe take a slightly closer stance. Knees are soft. We'll take our arms up. And we're just going to do that crossing over with hands and legs again. So I'm going to shift my weight into my left leg, pick up my right knee and tap it with my left hand. And then come back. And then the other side. Think about how we're crossing the midline here. Both the leg and the arm are. Interesting. And we're controlling this movement up, finding balance, and then we're controlling it back down, finding balance. We'll even out the sides, and then we're going to pause for a moment. You can straighten the arms and legs, float the arms down. So we're going to do it again. Now you can do exactly the same thing again if that's working for you. Again, the wall behind you is a great source for support if you need help with balance. If you continue that way, that's a good idea. Now, if you want to add on and try something a little different, the wall behind you, you're going to need a little more space because now we're going to shift our weight and we're going to cross the leg behind us and perhaps tap the foot, okay? You can continue doing what we were doing with the leg in front of us, or you might want to try this. So we come to that little squat. My feet aren't too far apart. I've got my arms up. I'm going to take an inhale. And let's exhale completely. Yeah. Now I'm going to shift over to my left leg, cross my right foot behind me, tap it with my left hand. And then I'm going to come back to center, controlled, and then shift the other way. I'm just doing a tap. If you can't find your foot, don't worry about it. And this is one of those poses where you could put the chair in front of you and just have a fingertip control on the back of the chair. So if you're trying that cross behind thing, give yourself room from the wall. Let's do one more in each direction. You might be doing the front cross, that's fine too. And then just pause in the center. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms, star pose, maybe look up. And float those arms down by your side. Bring the legs back together. Check in with those sensations now. We're going to make make our way back to our chair. Once we come back to the chair, we're going to sit towards the edge. Sit towards the edge, connecting your feet directly to the floor. We'll take a little twist here. So let's take our feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. And we're going to take both arms straight down between the thighs. The palms are facing each other. Now I'm going to reach my right arm straight up, and then I'm going to turn and look to the right. Now, when I say straight up, that might mean that your elbow is soft. That's okay. And then I'm going to bring that arm back down, bring my body to center, and then we take it to the other side. So the left arm lifts, and then I turn and look over to the left. And then untwist, bring the hand back down. So this arm could be very straight, bicep by the ear, or it might be softer depending upon your shoulder. Even things out, bring the hands back to the thighs. We'll bring our heels in, and then our toes in, and then our heels in, and maybe let the feet match. Yes, and then we'll sit back to the back of our chair. So I'm going to use my blocks again to connect my feet to the chair, but I have the support of the back of the chair. Let's turn the palms up in the lap. Again, the invitation is to soften or close your eyes. Just let it be a real soft gaze. If you don't want to close them, that's fine. Come back to the slow, even breath. See what it feels like now. And tune in to sensation in the body. Starting with fingers, wrists, forearms. We did a lot there. How does that feel now? Tune into shoulders. Tune into sensation in the hips, the front of the thighs, and the hamstrings on the back. Tune into sensation in feet and ankles. And then return your attention to the breath. Now let's bring the palms together and let the thumbs touch the sternum, recalling that intention that we set at the beginning of our class, right in the middle of the body. And then release those hands to the lap, blink open the eyes if they're closed, and let's move to the edge of the chair again, connecting our feet directly to the floor. We'll open those arms wide, take an inhale here, and as we exhale, bring the palms together right in the middle again. And down to heart center, and tuck your chin. And thank yourself for taking time to tune in today. And thank you for allowing me to guide you. An honor to be here with you, my friends. Stay well, and I'll see you again soon.